group! Ladies and gentlemen, this is your moment! Please don't make me ruin all the great work your plastic surgeons have been...
First game on the list is Grand Theft Auto 6. This game that lets you live your wildest and often most illegal fantasies. From stealing cars to robbing stores, GTA 5 is like a virtual crime spree with zero consequences. Unless, of course, you're dealing with the relentless police force that never seems to take a day off. It's got everything you want: heists, chaos, and a sprawling city that feels alive with more details than you'd expect from a game this explosive. The thing that sets GTA 5 apart, though, is its unforgettable characters. You've got Michael, the retired criminal trying to find meaning in life, but somehow always finding trouble. Trevor, the unpredictable loose cannon, and Franklin, the street-smart guy trying to climb out of his rough neighborhood. You can switch between them on the fly, which keeps things fresh and full of chaos. And let's not forget the online mode, GTA Online, which is like a never-ending party with your friends. If that party involved robbing banks and driving cars off cliffs. Sure, it's crazy, but that's what makes it unforgettable. Grand Theft Auto V isn't just a game. It's an experience. Next game is Warframe, the game that proves space ninjas can do everything. And I mean everything. In Warframe, you're an ancient warrior known as a Tenno, waking up from cryo-sleep to fight through hordes of enemies in sleek, customizable armor. It's a third-person shooter with parkour, sword fighting, and some of the most insane abilities you've ever seen. Need to jump across the map while shooting a few bad guys? Done. Want to slice through enemies with a glowing sword? Oh, that's a thing. You can even hover in midair and fire from above like a badass. The game doesn't just stop at the action. It's got a deep lore and a variety of quests, constantly pulling you deeper into its universe. Plus, with tons of Warframes to choose from, each with its own unique powers and playstyles, you're never stuck in one strategy for too long. And don't even get me started on the endless grind for new gear. Yes, it's time-consuming, but it's addicting in the best possible way. Warframe is the definition of just one more mission. You'll say that, and 3 hours later, you'll realize it's 3 a.m. Worth it? Absolutely. Next game is BioShock Infinite, the game that takes you to the skies, both literally and figuratively. Set in the floating city of Columbia, you play as Booker DeWitt, a man sent to rescue a mysterious woman named Elizabeth. And trust me, things get weird, like really weird. From the first moment you're thrown into a world that looks like a postcard from an alternate 1912, with jazz, propaganda, and flying machines. But it's not all sunshine and floating cities. This game has a story that will leave your jaw on the floor. The dynamic between Booker and Elizabeth is one of the best in gaming. Elizabeth is not just some damsel in distress, she's smart, resourceful, and helps you in ways you never expected. Whether it's tossing you ammo in the heat of battle or opening portals to different dimensions, she's a game changer. And then there's the twist. Oh boy, the twist. I won't spoil it, but BioShock Infinite is known for delivering one of the most mind-bending narratives you'll ever experience. The action is tight, the visuals are stunning, and the story will have you questioning everything you thought you knew. Next game is Red Dead Redemption 2. This game makes you feel like you're living in the Wild West, minus the risk of being shot by an outlaw every 5 minutes. This is the story of Arthur Morgan, a member of the Van der Linde gang, and it's much more than just a Western shooter. It's an open-world masterpiece that lets you immerse yourself in every detail, from the wind blowing through the trees to the sound of a distant train whistle. Every corner of this world feels alive. You can hunt animals, fish, play poker, or just stroll through towns and chat with locals. The realism is insane. Your horse even needs to be fed and brushed, but it's not all calm and serene. The game's story is full of action, tough choices, and heartbreaking moments as Arthur and the gang face off against lawmen, bounty hunters, and their own inner demons. And let's talk about that ending. Red Dead Redemption 2 delivers a gut punch of emotions that will stay with you long after the credits roll. It's a game about loyalty, survival, and the passing of an era, and it's definitely one of the best stories ever told in gaming. Just don't get too attached to your horse. Things happen. Next game is Doom, 1993. Forget the fancy graphics and complex storylines we have today. Doom was all about pure, unfiltered action. You play as the unnamed Marine, stranded on Mars, and tasked with fighting off hordes of demons and undead soldiers, armed with nothing but your trusty pistol and your will to survive. The game's design is simple, yet brilliant. You run through maze-like levels, blasting everything that moves with shotguns, rockets, and chainsaws. Yes, chainsaws. The music? Heavy metal perfection. Making every kill feel like the most satisfying thing you've ever done. And while the plot is pretty basic, it's hell you're fighting demons, what more do you need? The pace and intensity were groundbreaking for its time. Doom is a game that made you feel like an absolute badass. Just you, your guns, and an endless supply of demons. It's fast, it's fun, and it's an adrenaline rush from start to finish. Plus, it gave birth to multiplayer deathmatches. So, thank Doom next time you're fragging your friends online. Next game is Half-Life 2. As Gordon Freeman, a scientist turned hero, you find yourself in a dystopian world controlled by the alien Combine, and you're the last hope for humanity's survival. The story is told without a single cutscene. Yep, everything happens in real time as you explore and interact with the environment, making you feel like you're living the story instead of just watching it unfold. The physics in Half-Life 2 were revolutionary for its time. The gravity gun became an iconic tool, letting you toss objects like explosives or use a physics-based puzzle-solving mechanic in combat. Whether you're tossing barrels at enemies or using a toilet to block a door, the game lets you get creative. But it's not just about the combat, it's about the atmosphere. The haunting world, eerie silence, and constant feeling of being hunted by the Combine and their soldiers give the game an edge of tension and mystery that keeps you on your toes. Plus, the character interactions with Alex, who's one of the best companions in gaming, make the experience even more engaging. Half-Life 2 is a game that defined an era, and it still feels as fresh as it did in 2004. Next game is Skyrim, the game that somehow makes you feel like the ultimate dragon-slaying hero and the most powerful person in the world, all while also taking time to pet every dog and harvest every flower in sight. Whether you're exploring the vast open world of Tamriel, fighting off dragons, or joining the Thieves Guild, there's always something to do in Skyrim. The game's world is massive, and it's packed with quests, dungeons, and random encounters that keep you coming back for more. Want to be a mage casting powerful spells? Done. How about a sneaky assassin? You got it? Or maybe you want to be a warrior with a battle axe that can send enemies flying? Yep, that's a thing too. And let's talk about dragons. Nothing quite compares to the first time you face one, especially when you shout at it with your dragonborn powers and watch it crumble to the ground. Plus, the modding community has made Skyrim an endless playground. You can add everything from new quests to making the game look even more stunning. Skyrim is the game that never ends, and honestly, we don't mind. Next game is Black Myth Wukong, and wow, this game lives up to the hype. From the moment you start playing, you're thrust into a breathtaking world based on the legendary Journey to the West. As the iconic Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, you take on hordes of enemies with a blend of fast-paced combat and mystical powers that make every fight feel like a spectacle. The visuals are absolutely stunning. Seriously, it's like the game was made in a dream. What sets Black Myth Wukong apart is its dynamic combat system. You can transform into animals, manipulate the environment, and use an array of magical abilities to outsmart enemies. 1 minute, you're using your staff to take down foes, and the next, you're dodging massive attacks from mythical creatures. The combat feels fluid, intuitive, and satisfying, keeping you on your toes with every encounter. The world is full of life, with vibrant environments and enemies that challenge you to think strategically. The lore is rich, drawing you deeper into the mythos of the Monkey King. Black Myth Wukong isn't just a game, it's an adventure you'll lose yourself in, with a story and gameplay that are as epic as the myth itself. If you're a fan of action RPGs, this one is an absolute must-play. Next game is Outer Wilds, the space exploration game that makes you rethink what time and the universe really mean. At first glance, it might seem like a simple space adventure, but it's so much more than that. You play as a member of an alien race, the Harthians, and you're launched into the vastness of space to explore a solar system that's stuck in a time loop. Yup, every 22 minutes, the sun goes supernova and everything resets. Your job? To figure out why. The beauty of Outer Wilds is in its open-world exploration and mystery. The solar system is full of secrets, from ancient ruins on distant planets to strange phenomena that defy all logic. Every time the loop resets, you bring your knowledge with you, piecing together clues and uncovering the story behind the time loop. The game doesn't hold your hand. It lets you discover everything on your own, and that sense of discovery is what makes it so magical. The game's art style is charming, its soundtrack is hauntingly beautiful, and its sense of wonder is unmatched. It's one of those rare games that makes you feel like you're actually exploring the unknown. And even though the time loop can be frustrating at times, the payoff is worth every minute. Outer Wilds is a journey you'll never forget. Next game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Multiplayer, the game that made every me experience the thrill of fast-paced combat, incredible kill streaks, and the pure chaos of online matches with friends and strangers alike. It was worth spending more than 1,000 hours in. Whether you were running and gunning in team deathmatch, or strategically planting bombs in search and destroy, MW2's multiplayer was an absolute game changer. The maps, iconic. From the tight corners of Rust to the long sightlines of High-Rise, each map offered its own unique challenges and strategies. The guns? You could customize them to your heart's content, making every loadout feel personal. Oh, and let's not forget about the kill streaks. Calling in a UAV to spot enemies, unleashing a chopper gunner, or even dropping an AC-130 on unsuspecting players felt absolutely amazing, like you were a hero in your own action movie. But what really made MW2's multiplayer legendary was the community. Sure, it had its fair share of campers and trash talkers, but it also brought together friends who'd spend hours going for that next level, unlocking new gear, and chasing after that sweet, sweet victory. From the moment you heard that enemy UAV overhead, you knew the battle was on, and whether you were winning or losing, it was always a blast. Next game is Metal Gear Solid, the game that introduced us to the legendary Solid Snake and redefined the stealth genre in the process. When it first dropped on the PlayStation, MGS was a total game changer. You weren't just running in and blasting enemies, you had to think, sneak, and outwit your opponents in every situation. It's like the game was telling you, nope, you can't just shoot your way out of this. You've got to use your brain. The plot? Oh, it's wild. You're Snake, sent to a nuclear weapons disposal facility to rescue a hostage, only to uncover a conspiracy that's bigger than anything you could have imagined. The twists, the turns, and the unforgettable characters, especially the larger-than-life antagonist, Liquid Snake, make MGS an unforgettable experience. The stealth mechanics were ahead of their time. You had to hide in cardboard boxes, sneak past guards, and use the environment to your advantage. Plus, The boss fights were some of the most unique and mind-bending in gaming history. Fighting Psycho Mantis, for example, who could read your controller inputs. Genius. Metal Gear Solid set the stage for a whole new kind of storytelling and gameplay, blending action, suspense, and psychological thrills into a perfect package. If you've played it, you know. It's a classic. Next game is Left 4 Dead, the game that turned you and your friends into a team of zombie-killing experts, all while shouting at each other about who's stealing the last medkit. This cooperative first-person shooter threw you into chaotic, zombie-infested environments where teamwork and quick reflexes were the only things keeping you from becoming lunch. The premise is simple. Survive, shoot zombies, and make it to the safe house. Easy, right? Well, not exactly. What made Left 4 Dead stand out was its unique AI director. The game dynamically adjusts the intensity of the zombie hordes based on how well you're doing, ensuring that no two playthroughs are ever the same. You could be cruising through a level 1 minute, and then bam! A tank shows up, smashing everything in its path, and your team's scrambling to survive. And then, of course, there's the zombie variety. From the fast-moving infected to the terrifying special infected, like the Boomer or the Witch, there's always something that can ruin your day. The game's frantic, fast-paced action and its emphasis on cooperative play made Left 4 Dead a defining multiplayer experience. And it's one of those games that, no matter how many times you play, is always a blast. If you've got friends, you've got a good time. Just don't shoot each other in the chaos. It happens more often than you'd think.
Thank you.
Next game is Far Cry 3, the open-world shooter that put you in the shoes of Jason Brody, a guy who just wanted to vacation on a tropical island and ended up fighting for his life against pirates, mercenaries, and the terrifyingly insane Vas Montenegro. Seriously, Vas is one of the best villains in gaming history. His chaotic, unpredictable nature makes him an unforgettable antagonist who will have you questioning your own sanity. The island is gorgeous, with lush jungles, sandy beaches, and towering mountains, but it's far from a vacation paradise. You'll be crafting weapons, hunting animals, and taking down enemies in any way you see fit. Whether it's silently taking out a group of mercs with a bow or blowing them up with a rocket launcher, Far Cry 3 gives you the freedom to approach each situation however you like. But what really makes Far Cry 3 special is its story. As Jason struggles to survive, he's also battling with his own morals and sanity, gradually turning into someone he never thought he'd be. It's a journey of survival, betrayal, and a deeper exploration of what it means to lose yourself in a chaotic world. With its open-world freedom, memorable characters, and brutal combat, Far Cry 3 is still one of the best in the series.
What the? That you, Brody? I've been waiting.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content on the latest and greatest games. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. Got a game you'd love to see in a future video? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay tuned and see you next time.